Today we're going to go and see a stripper. Fasten your seatbelts, get ready, let's go. So here we have it, here's our stripper. It's your man Agent M here, and we're at another development project. This time in Stoke Newington, North London. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to break this video into three sections. Firstly, we're going to look at the internals. Secondly, we're going to look at external factors and the decision-making process on closing this purchase. And lastly, we're going to be looking at the location knowledge, just to give you some ideas of where we actually are and what's actually happening here. So the first thing to note is it's been stripped out, including the roof section. And as part of stage one value add, we have submitted planning approval for a new loft, which is additional space. Now, this is something that we can do. It's very transparent with the local council, and we can develop, remodel, and also create new space. And we have now received approval from the local authority to add 2 further rooms into the loft, and that is immediate money in the bank and profit before we even start doing any work. So before we go down to the ground floor, we've also got the communal hallway, which will have an entrance to all of the apartments. Now will also be upgraded. We'll have some very nice features here, including some wood panels and some nice lighting. We'll make sure that these banisters and the flooring is going to give this house a wow factor as soon as you enter. So here we are on the first floor, and I'll turn it around, and then that gives you an idea of the layout. So we're in the first room, which will be an open plan kitchen and lounge. Behind the wall, you'll see a window, which will be a bedroom. And then there'll be a wall and staircase internally that will take you downstairs where that last window is, and that will be a bathroom and a walk-in wardrobe. And that's a 1-bedroom flat. Entering the ground floor, we've got a room to the left, a room to the right, and then we've got a new hallway here. And let me go to the extreme window. As we turn around, it gives you an idea to see the 2 rooms here now. When we originally viewed the house, we were very impressed with the size of these rooms, and immediately we saw the potential for value add based on past planning approvals with the local authority. So 2 big rooms here, and then we had a nice long hallway, and we have applied for remodeling development, increasing the square footage by extending this right-hand wall to the left-hand fence and all the way down, which will give us a very nice rectangular shape. So just to give you an idea, this is the old plan, and this is the new 3-bedroom garden flat plan, which will be a family dwelling. Once again, approved with the local authority, immediate capital gains, profit, money in the bank, and that's what you call savvy property investment. So here we are coming outside, and you can see what a beautiful street this is. What's important to note is that the majority of the street is period property, which is the Georgian period. And some of the houses are actually taller than others, and there's a reason for that, and mainly it was to do with the war and bombing, and the houses were then rebuilt, and some with a higher floor. So it's important to note that these houses are subdivided, or the majority are subdivided into apartments. So top floor, you'll see the windows, that's 1 apartment, middle floor is the 2nd apartment, raised ground floor is the 3rd apartment, and lower ground floor is the 4th apartment. Now, whilst we were buying this property, that was a major consideration for us, because we were going to convert this into a single dwelling. But based on that, what do you think it should be?
Well, you'd still need family houses, isn't it?
Do you think so? On this road? On this road?
Flats.
There you go. See, look, there's my man. He's telling us straight as it is. So the history for the house is it was under offer at 1.18 with some locals that wanted to actually revert it back into one house, and subsequently asked questions with the local authority. They weren't experienced, and they decided it was too high risk to revert this back into one house, and they wouldn't get the approval for it. Understanding the local guidelines and the council's policy, they would have been very this being reverted back into a single family dwelling, because that's high on their priority. If you were to buy one of these houses and then try and do the reverse and subdivide it into apartments, that would be extremely difficult unless the properties have got prior established use. Understanding established use, so if you look at these two houses on the same road, the one on the left is now being reverted back into a single family dwelling, and the one on the right has already got a top floor apartment, a middle floor apartment, a ground floor apartment and a lower ground floor apartment. Now, the key thing is that as long as those apartments have been established for the last 4 years and it can be proved with council tax, utilities and any other evidence like tenancy agreements, then these have already got what's known as established use with the local authority, where they cannot enforce this as an illegal development. And if this was acquired or sold and acquired, the developer or the buyer could retain them as 4 single units. The one on the left hand side, if it was sold as separate dwellings, 4 units, it could then be approved by the local authority, who were very pro for it to be reverted back into a single dwelling. So planning does carry certain risk factors. However, these can be mitigated based on knowledge and experience, and most importantly, hiring the right professional teams. Also, most of the policies for the local authority can be found on their portals, and based on that you can make a very calculated risk, and I always say who dares wins, so that's where the maximum profit is. Let's take a drive around the local neighbourhood and I'll show you a couple of past and ongoing projects too. Stoke Newington Church Street, and this is where we have some of the old commercial outlets, and you'll see the demographics here as well. So here we have 3 commercial units, and what's most important is to be aware of your surroundings. And if you look above, we've got the same colour rendering and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 windows. And all of those windows belong to apartments, and the owner of the freehold is literally collecting rent every month and enjoying passive income. Now, what you'll also note is the quality of the outlets, and once again we've got another one here which is Sainsbury's. Above there, all of the windows are exactly the same. So once again it confirms to me, based on my experience, that that whole building is owned by one individual, a family, a company, and the upper parts are passive income and the collection of rent. Just beyond the Sainsbury's, we also have further commercial, and this is really important. So once again, be aware of your surroundings. If you look at that, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 commercial with units above, and the reason that I know it's owned by one entity is because all of the buildings are being upgraded at the same time, which confirms to me it's apartments above, there's improvements being made to the building, and huge passive income being earned every month. Towards the end of the High Street, we turn left onto Stoke Newington Church Street. The commercial units really change with a little bit more upmarket. The local demographics definitely change. This is a clear marker for a change of demographics and re-gentrification, and we've got whole foods, organic food, and let's take a look in there and see who the local profile of this particular hotspot are. So just coming off Church Street, we've got one of the hot residential streets here, which is called Kersley Road. This is where we have some smaller family houses which go for quite a considerable sum, and this is where we were acquiring in 2002, and this typically shows you a refurbished house, which is typical of what we would complete our houses with. And next door you can see there's a house that's being refurbished, remodeled, value add, and that will be sold on this particular road for no less than 1.4 million, and it will go super fast. End of Kersley Road, we have Dumont Road, and you'll see some of the demographics here. So these are some of the families that are living here, and if you look at this terraced road here, you will not find an old house. So change of demographic, every single one of these houses is a change of demographic. And this is a typical example of what they are actually, what the buyer profile actually wants. So they want traditional Victorian finishes, which include some nice bold colours or neutral farandole colours. A lot of them will have these blinds, and that's a typical giveaway of the demographics and the Re-Gentrification. So moving on a little bit further, and we can see the theme continues with the white blinds, frosted glass. And this is one of the old opportunities that's been acquired by lucky owners, or what it actually looks like to me is, based on the door and so on, is that somebody's already living here and they're now just doing a loft conversion, which is something that they've applied with the local authority, and based on precedent being set with the house next door, it's no problem for them to get the approval. So this is how we would make some decisions when acquiring these properties on a very speedy basis. So here's another two examples of how a house becomes a home. So we have the Victorian tiles, cast iron gates and railings, some nice new sash windows, the white blinds, lovely traditional doors with some stained glass, and we have the brickworks and the repointing done as well. Both of these houses also should have a loft conversion. Let's take a look, and the giveaway sign will be the windows in the roof, so planning approved. Let's take a look at one of our latest projects, which has just been launched on Belgrade Road. Here we are at Belgrade Road, and it's a lovely tree-lined street, and this house here was purchased, sold and acquired for £750,000 as a dilapidated house, and we've turned it into this beautiful internally. I'm going to just show you. All in our cost is around £1 million, and the resale figure is 1.25, so it's a 25% profit over 8 to 12 months. So as we walk in, I think the key thing is just to create that feeling of a home and a wow factor. So as part of our standard template, it's kept open plan, walking into a sunken kitchen and lounge, which is beautifully done with some crystal glass and a garden at the back. Let me show you the rest of the house. That's the end of another successful mission, and hopefully that gives you some of my insight and knowledge towards successful property development and property investment. And if you found this video informative, gained a small teeny ounce of knowledge, then please do like, share, and most importantly subscribe. I'm going to see you on our next mission, which is going to be super exciting. And with that said, Agent M, out.